up? It's Chris Young. What do you say we take a few minutes and talk about some of the awesome features on your Keystone Cougar fifth wheel? All right, so let's start right up front, and right away, fifth wheel hitch. This Lippert Road Armor hitch is one of the best in the industry because it has the pivoting head right here, which really helps reduce that chucking and bucking when you're going down the road. And you'll notice right in here, what I like to call the generator box. This is your prep box where your spare tire is mounted, your battery, as well as you'll see your legs right here for your leveling system, which we're going to show you here in a minute, and our docking lights right there. So if you want to cut those on, you can. Now, quick little rule of thumb before we get to the propane. Be sure that when you land your leveling jacks, land them before you pull the pin out. That way, if you need to get some additional height to back your truck up or to set up, you already have it. You don't have to go back and lift it back up. So just be sure, to keep that in mind. Now, the Keystone Cougar fifth wheels will have twin 30-pound LP tanks. And you'll notice right here, our little regulator as well as our meter. This one, unfortunately, does not have gas, but this is where you could tell if your gas is flowing or not. And if you open it up and you still don't get any green, that means you need to get this filled up. A great feature with the Keystone Cougar fifth wheels is electronic leveling. Now, if you cut this on and you're not in ready status, you will get an error message. And in order to clear that error message, all you got to do is just lower the jacks all the way down, all of them, and then push and hold the retract button for a few seconds, and then it'll bring all the jacks up automatically and clear the error message. But really, this is easy because when it comes to setting up the auto level, as long as you're ready and you do have enough amperage, voltage, just hit the auto level, and then it'll go to work and start leveling it for us. You'll even hear it going. Great little feature. Another great feature, you come pre-wired for solar with the Keystone Cougar fifth wheels with what's known as the ZAMP solar. It's already wired, plus they have a 170 watt solar panel on the roof. Now, right here is your external command center, and your storage doors are anti-slam. A lot of them have the magnetic hinges, but over here is strut supported so that you can access your external connections. For example, here's your external shower with hot and cold, your winterization connection, city water connection, black tank flush, as well as your connections, a porthole, the battery disconnect, your KeyTV multi-source connection, and your 10 amp quick connect to trickle charge your battery. Now, one thing I will say, this one does come with a water heater bypass on it so that you can get a quick recovery for hot water. But if you're going to winterize, make sure that both of these are on before you do that, or else the pump's not going to know what to pull from. With your tanks, we also recommend keep them closed. Even if you're hooked up to sewer, you don't want to leave that black tank open. And when you do go to dump, do the black first and then the gray so it washes everything out. But you want some water in that black tank so that you don't get pyramiding on there as well. Right here is the back of my water heater. You'll see I got my little electric switch right here, so I can cut that off and on. Right here is my propane igniter, my anode rod right there, my pressure release valve. So if you're going to change the anode rod, you need to get rid of some water pressure, just hit that, the water will spill out. And of course, if you do need to reset your water heater, just push and hold right there. These are good water heaters too. You're looking at 20,000 BTU Suburbans right there. There's our terminations right here. And like I was mentioning, even if you have that hooked up, just make sure that you leave the tanks closed. You don't want them open all the time. You'll also notice the Road Armor suspension on these as well. That gives you some really good safety and security when going down the road. Fresh tank fill located back here, and you notice you have the pressure release valve. This is a nice little safety feature so that if you do forget about it, you set the garden hose in there and you take off to go do something else. This will let you know when it's full because you'll see the water spewing all over the place. 3,000 pound hitch right here, 2-inch hitch with your light connection right there, right below your 50 amp service. And this is something where when you do set up, make sure that this is turned and locked in. You'll notice the unlock and the lock and screwed in. A lot of them will sometimes have the lights on there to let you know if you're getting power. If you are, great. If not, just check the breakers at your box. Got set up for backup camera, plus we got a solid ladder right there. Now we got the Lippert slides And you'll notice these are true fit slides. They do have a manual override, which is located on the inside. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we get in. Your sewer hose storage for this one, since you don't have a bumper, is right there underneath. Now, some of your models will have 2 awnings, some will have 1 awnings. This one has 2. We got the LED light strip and our external speakers, but with these Solera awnings, they do have an adjustable pitch. You just grab right here and you can pull down. But obviously just watch out, because if it's been raining, like happened to me before, you pull this down, the next thing you know, you're getting an impromptu bath. If you're not able to run the electric awning, you need to do it manually. You'll notice there's a little rubber nozzle right there, kind of poking out at the end of the awning. That's the manual override. You can pull that out and easily be able to access it. Right in here is the back of our in-command system, as well as our Key TV connection. With this, I would say don't even mess with the in-command. That's the controls for pretty much everything that you have inside the RV. And last but not least, here on the outside, the Furion side vision. This is something that if you can get our service team to hook you up with it, just adds additional safety and security when hauling your fifth wheel down the road. So now that we've seen some of the things on the outside, let's go take a look at the inside. All right, when walking into your Keystone Cougar fifth wheel, you notice that you have the solid step over steps. Now let me show you a cool little thing about these. Open up the door, get my water out of the way. Lift these up and you'll notice, you see these stoppers right here? This is what allows you to adjust the legs. Push it in, you can slide them in and out. And it's very important that when you're lowering the stairs down, that you get them flush and even on the ground so that it's a sturdy step into your RV. Not only that, you want to make sure that it's as low as possible, because if this is sticking up at all, maybe you got the stairs too high, you won't be able to close the door all the way. So just a nice little rule of thumb. Then when putting the stairs away, just make sure that the door is open, take it nice and slow, and you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, this little blue latch, pull that out. It keeps the stairs in place while you're in transit. To lower them back down, pull the handle, watch yourself as you bring the steps back down, and there we go. So Bobby, let's go inside my beautiful, luxurious Keystone Cougar fifth wheel. Now, one of the first things you want to check out when you come into your fifth wheel is the in-command system, especially if you need to cut on the lights, if you need to cut on the HVAC system. It's like right here, we're going to cut on all the lights on the inside. Circle means it's off, line means it's on, and you'll see right there. Now, you can also control this from your cell phone app. You just have to download the in-command app. Once you do that, you Bluetooth sync up to your unit, and then you can run everything like your HVAC system, your lights. If you do have a front AC, you can run that. If you have the rear AC, you can run that. Let's put that on cool. And we're going to drop the temperature down to 70. Now you can set the fan to auto. You even have vents in here. You have the max air fan. What that does is that pulls a lot of the hot air out of the unit. You can also schedule your HVAC. You can run out your slides and your awnings. There's your toggle switches for the in and out. You'll see all in the slides, and it'll differ by unit as to which ones are available and which ones are not. And last but not least on here, these do come with 12-volt tank heaters. What that is that's a pad that's on your fresh tank and your wastewater tank. To cut those on, you just hit them there, but they won't run if the temperature is over 40 degrees. So that's kind of a nice little fail-safe. Also, if you want to check your fresh tank, your black tank, your gray tanks, all of that, you can check that right there. Cut on your water pump, you hear it running right there. Cut on your water heater. Now, this does have either the option of gas or electric or both. So with that quick return on it, you can go with either. I mean, obviously if you hit gas, it does go ahead and ignite the propane heater on it. Electric will just cut it on when you need it. Gas and electric will give you a little bit of a quicker recovery. So if you're doing, a lot of back-to-back showers, go ahead and do that so that you get a little bit faster water, the hotter when you need it. Light switches right there. Come on inside. Now, the refrigerators inside the Keystone Cougar fifth wheels, you have either the Hayer residential, or which is a 16 cubic foot, or you have a 12 cubic foot 12-volt fridge. This being residential means that it has to have a different converter on it. So if it's a 12-volt fridge, you got the standard converter. If you have the hanger fridge, that means you got a 2,000 watt converter, which is what we have in this one. But take a look at the space that we have inside this hanger. And to control it, you have your controls here on the outside. You'll see you have fridge, freezer. You can change those. Quick cool if you need to get it down. Quick freeze if you need to get the freezer down. Lock if you don't want anybody changing any of the temperatures. And last but not least on this one, Sabbath mode is actually a nighttime mode. So if you don't want the compressor to run for 8 hours, you hit the Sabbath mode and it slows it down for you. Come over here and you'll see we have the High Point large microwave on this one. Works just like one if you had it inside your residential home. Here we have the Furion range and oven. High output on the front right here, as well as the lights for the controls and the Furion oven right there, the 21-inch oven. Now to ignite these, well, we don't have propane going in this one, but to ignite it, you would push and turn until the arrow matches the flame right there. You'll know that you're getting it right because it's red. You may also begin to smell the propane. And then this is your igniter over here. You can only turn it one way, which is why the arrows are pointing this way. And you'll see the spark going. If you do not have gas or it doesn't cut on, check to make sure that you have gas in the tanks. If you do have gas in the tanks, make sure that they're open and flowing. You'll be able to tell by the indicator on the regulator. If not, bring it in, let one of our service folks take care of it for you. Same thing with the oven. To cut this on, push and hold until you get to the flame, and then just turn the igniter, and that will cut your oven on. Nice little feature inside these Keystone Cougar fifth wheels. Now here you have a 35K BTU furnace inside the Keystone Cougar fifth wheels, a 15K BTU air conditioner, and a possible 13.5 inside the main bedroom. So 15K here, 13.5 there. This is the Coleman Mach that has the quick cool dumps. So if you have those dumps closed, it'll come through the blade vents like you see right here, and the blade system just distributes air a little bit more evenly. You got your vents right here to clean, but if you really want to get cool quicker, just cut those open and boom, you get a nice dump of cold air, especially on a hot day. Now with RVs, you just have to be careful because sure, the insulation is still great, but the walls are rather thin. So if it's 95 degrees outside, you got this set for 70 degrees, you might want to leave the fan on high as opposed to auto, because what that'll do is if it keeps cutting off and on, there's a good chance that it might freeze up the AC unit for you. And if you're not getting power to your AC unit, check to make sure you're plugged in, check to make sure that your on-command system is working, and then check the circuit breaker box. With the circuit breaker boxes, you'll notice, like we have over here below our LPO2 detector, these are actually LED backlit. So if there is an error or something is wrong with any of these breakers, there'll be a little red light that'll cut on. That's when you know something's wrong and you need to replace it. So if you do that and you're still not getting AC, just have our folks, one of our service techs, help you out. Same thing goes with the InnoFlame fireplace that you're going to find on a lot of these units. Now, these are electric fireplaces. They have multiple flame settings, multiple light settings. They kick out roughly 4,800 BTUs of heat with the electric blower. But if you're not getting anything, just check to make sure that the circuit breakers are working and that you have power. You also have your Furion AM/FM command center here. It is dual zone. It's USB, as well as Bluetooth, near field communication, and there's an app for it as well. But if you notice, the HDMI cord is not in the front. The HDMI cord for the TV actually comes out the back of the system. So you'll see how it's plugged in right here, but if you follow the cord, it runs down behind the center panel right there. That just means that if you do need to swap out the HDMI cord or if something goes bad with it, it's going to be a little bit of a pain to get that out because you got to get back there to get to the Furion HDMI connection. But you still have your Key TV multi-source connection set up there as well. Now, if you do have one of these trifold sofas like we have in this one, great way to give somebody some additional comfortable sleep. And all you do is you remove these Velcro backs. You carefully, because you want to make sure you don't hurt yourself, lift this up and you'll notice the legs right here. Extend those out And then when you fold this down, Chris, where's the rest of the bed? Right here. Folds down. Then you can put these back there if you want as a headboard, or as my kids do, they use them as pillows. So there you go. Blackout shades, large wood balances. With the roller shades, you just pull them down and roll them back and forth. You do only have the blackout shades inside of these. Now let's go up here to the bathroom. So we've hit furnace, we've hit gas, we've hit oven. Let's check out the bathroom. Now, these are some residential feels to the bathrooms. So you'll notice with this walk-in shower, you have this sprayer nozzle up here, this brushed nickel chain drive. Now this is adjustable, so you can turn this depending on what type of shower you want. If you want, just the middle, if you want half of it, or if you want the whole thing, you can adjust it right there. You also have the porcelain bowl with the foot flush right here. And you'll notice with this, you see that flapper down there with that rubber seal? When you push the foot flush down, if the bowl's not holding water, what you can do is get a glove with some Vaseline or some grease, push the foot flush down, and then put that underneath that rubber seal. And what that'll do is that'll help keep that flapper in place. Now let's check out the bedroom, because that's where you're going to be spending most of your nights. Now with these, sometimes you get a second AC, sometimes you won't. But if you do have the second AC, you can control this either from the control panel there or from the cell phone app. Very nice feature to have, especially if you want to change it while you're in bed, to have it on the app so you don't have to keep getting up. Filters are still right there. Washer and dryer preps are right there. So if you want to get that set up, let our service folks help you with that. And on some of the windows, they have these push-up shades, but you'll notice they're string supported. And over time, these strings will get loose. So a good rule of thumb to get them tighter is just take your finger and wrap it around the bolt. But make sure you do it on both sides so that you don't get that weird, one side's up, the other side is down. You will have multiple Key TV connections, as well as power and TV mounts depending on where you're at, living room, bedroom, and of course, one of the things that's become way more prominent is the Winegard 4G LTE booster. And with that, it's a service that you can buy, but it's already pre-wired. Sometimes it'll be the AirPlay 360 on the roof that you see. That'll just help boost your signal, get you more internet, get you stronger signal, so forth and so on. But hopefully this has kind of helped you with some of the features inside your Keystone Cougar fifth wheel, because I got to tell you, they're awesome. But as always, we're here to help you anytime. Just reach out to us if you have any questions, because our folks want to make sure that your camping experience is the best that it can absolutely be.